Good evening, morning, and or afternoon, Blood Bowl fans. I am Gamba, and I am here with our brand new trade commissioner, Ninja Pirate Alien Assassin Monkey. Say hello, my friend.
Hello.
I forgot robots. Um, and today we wanted to talk about our trade rules, transfer market rules, how things are going to be handled, and then I was going to go briefly over how everything kind of runs in this league because it's gotten a lot of questions. We do have little forum as well for frequently asked questions, but I like doing movies because I can't spell. So first off, let us talk about transfer market rules. So I got the quick and dirty for you guys. This is all under your rules if you read them, which are on the Reddit page. Um, you may buy and sell players through our trade commissioner at the current player rate, i.e., whatever their little numeric value is worth. Um, all trades and sales must go through the trade commissioner, and his decision is non-negotiable. Um, Pretty much exactly what it says it is. You have to sell things to him. You have to trade using him as a median. Any trades outside of that will be deemed illegal trades, and those players must be deleted. And your ability not to cooperate with that will lead in your termination in this league. Um, you may trade or sell as many players as you like. Pretty much exactly what it is. Any retiring team may sell its players to the free agent, but it must sit for a whole season on a cooldown. That way we don't have any scandals, which I trust you guys that we won't. And then trading commissioner may not buy trade without the sign off of at least two other admins to keep him honest, because I don't trust him. He's a robot and a pirate and a ninja. It's an evil threesome. Um, and then all trades will be handled in the Rebel player market, which has been made. Anything you'd like to add, Mr. Robot Pirate Ninja?
Eventually, you're going to get my name right, and it'll be glorious and everything I dreamed it could be.
I know.
But outside of that, not right off the bat. Those are kind of the baseline rules. I will say that I am just going to recuse myself from trading, just to make it easier and to kind of eliminate any possible argument that I may be treating someone unfairly or anything like that.
Look at
As
that.
much as I would love to get at Julius at some point.
Look at that. Beautiful. He is taking himself away. Did you want to talk about who we're accepting to buy, how we want to determine who we're going to all that kind of stuff, getting in the nitty-gritty?
Yeah, so uh, basically at the heart of this is that the system is still a direct trade system, i.e., coach to coach trades. I'm not going to sit here and try to determine exactly whether or not you're trading a level 3 skink for a level 4 Saurus and the cash offset is fair. I'm going to leave that kind of decision up to the coach because that's how the system works. I will say that it will enforce a minimum value, which is the actual SPP value as the player is listed on the team page. So if you want to trade a player that's worth 110K for a player that's worth 150K, you're going to have to pony up the extra 40K. That's just how the system itself won't allow for anything less than that. So you have no options there. That is how that has to go. So the previous seasons, what teams have been doing is they would go into their own league. They'd do a bunch of gymnastics to try and make the math work out, because in order to initiate a trade, there's no direct player for player trading. It's all sell this player for cash and then buy that player for cash. And so the market will mediate those now. So you no longer have to have one of the coaches be able to buy the entire other player in cash first to initiate that transaction. Now you'll just be able to sell the players that are involved in the trade to the market, get cash from the market, and then the market will list the players that you're buying, at which you will pay the cash you just got for. So that's a little handy. So that covers pretty much direct trades. Like I said, I expect most of the transactions are going to go that route. If you don't want or can't find a trading partner, you can sell to the market for cash. The market will only ever buy at the player value listed on the team page. I'm not going to pay more. And there are going to be some restrictions on what we will buy because we're only really interested in buying players that are going to be useful to someone else at some point. So anybody that's got a fireable injury, a strength bust, for example, we just aren't going to. We're not a replacement for your retiring players. I'm sorry. Generally speaking, we will buy any normal skilled player without an injury starting about level 3. Exceptions will probably be made for things like Saurus or other slow leveling characters where a Saurus with block is a huge up over a rookie Saurus. But particularly on easy to level players, I'm not going to bend that very often, if at all. For injured players, we probably won't even consider them below level 4, and it's going to come under a lot of scrutiny. It's a case-by-case exception. If you've got a stat-up player that's got an injury like a move bust that isn't a critical or a fireable injury, those will be considered. Niggles will be considered, but again, it's going to be very much is this player going to be worth keeping despite the niggle kind of argument?
And a lot of that makes sense. I mean, a lot of that's just kind of that common sense, like, do you want this player? I mean, there's some injuries that we all know, like a minus agi on a dwarf lineman is a big whoop-de-doop-de. He wasn't picking the ball up to begin with. And if he's got a great level up, it just makes sense that a newer player might want him, or even a veteran player that's kind of low on luck. So those are all things that hopefully make sense to you guys. We wanted to try to address a lot of the questions on that people had, and I hope that kind of helps. After we post this video, we will start accepting selling and trading. So you'll be able to go to Ninja Pirate Robot and ask him if you may trade and such, and he will clear it and make it happen, Captain. He has a league set up just for this, so you'd have to pull out of whatever league you're in, get into it, and get your ticket again. So make sure you do all your trades before I send out tickets for the main season. Because once that happens, I will be at work in busy season. So once those tickets go out, it's going to be very difficult for me to send you a second one. The other thing is for next season, one of the big things we wanted to talk about was how we're going to determine who gets who for buying players. And would you like to discuss that really quickly?
Yep. So the primary concerns people had was that free agents were going to allow for a rich get richer kind of market environment, wherein returning teams that have a lot of capital or a lot of players that they could easily lose to pay for better incoming players would have the advantage at getting access to these players that will be available in the free agent market. And that is not what we want. That is not what we want the purpose of this to be at all. So the system that we've kind of come up with is basically 2 steps. The first step is that new teams to the league won't be able to make bids on any players in the free agent market until the off season between their first and second seasons. This was mostly a decision because this allows all of the incoming teams to be on even footing, relatively speaking, just having the 4 spin games and otherwise being a fresh roll. And the fact that we felt that it's not necessary for the new teams generally to need to buy players out of the market because they're going to be put in a league with other fresh roles or new players as a general rule, as opposed to being thrown to, someone who's had 3-4 seasons in the league or what have you. Beyond that, what we'll be doing prior to opening the league is we'll be basically ranking all of the teams that are going to be eligible to buy. That ranking is going to be based off of how well you did in the previous season, where your team is. I'm not going to get into too specifics about that until it comes closer. But the gist of it is that we're going to have a waiver claim system on the free agent market based off of that ranking. So what'll happen is you'll know, because all of the free agent players have been sitting since the previous offseason, you'll know what players will be available. We will make that list available at the end of the completion of the regular season, and we'll say, hey, you have from now until some number of days before the season starts, we'll kind of determine that when it comes up, to put in a claim on whatever players you might want. I will collect all of the claims that people want, and then I will take a look at the ranking, and I will start at the bottom for each player, for each team type, and just head my way up the list until I hit somebody that wanted that player, and that player gets first shot at buying. We're going to sell at the same rate that the market buys at. It is just a flat rate. It's easy to use because it's what the market kind of sets for us. It's possible going forward we may decide that that's not fair, but for now, I think it's the fairest way to go. And then essentially I'll notify the people who got their first waiver claim in that they have the option to buy him. And if they at that point will be able to choose, yes, I'm going to take him, and then we'll handle that trade with the market. Or they'll decide, no, after playing my spins, I don't need him. I got my guy leveled or whatever. And then they can cancel their waiver claim if they want, and we'll continue moving up the list. There will be some level of, once you have claimed a player, that's it. You'll go back to the bottom of the list for your div or league or however we rank this, so that, one team just doesn't get, well, I was last place, so I'm going to take all 3 of these guys. That's not going to happen either. And that's kind of the just generalized way of how that's going to be handled.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a little on the, it's gonna take us a little more footwork, and it may take a little longer, but we think it's the fairest way that everyone's gonna get, their chance to, get their team back in order, and hopefully keep the turnover of teams down a little bit. So that's the method for our madness. Let's see. So besides that, there's a couple other things I wanted to touch on that we've gotten a lot of questions about. Obviously, a lot of the stuff's already in the facts, answers, and questions side of our Reddit. But just in case it's too long, didn't read, and you like videos like I do, spin games. I've gotten a lot of questions about the spin games. So here's how spin games work. If your league was the normal format, or you're just joining our league, you get 4 spin games. If you decide to reroll your team because it got destroyed, you don't get extra spin games. If you played 3, you get 1 left. If you played none, you have all of them left. You can reroll your team as many times as you'd like before the season starts, but once the season goes, the rules with that get pretty a little tightened. We have a couple rules, such as the Anderson rule, which is if your team gets beaten to a pulp and there's really nothing left of your team and you're having no fun and otherwise would quit the league, we will take case by case to determine if we can let you reroll mid-season. So yeah, 4 games, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple past that. Take a quick look at some of the other things. We have 3 different divisions that you all know of. Playoffs are pretty easy. We're looking like we have a pretty big group this season around, so it might be a more even setting of who's going to where in playoffs. And I think that's really it. I know the spins have been a big one, and the trade market's been a big one. Is there anything you can think of? Anything else?
No, I think we've got a lot of new coaches joining this season, so I think that's why a lot of the how do I sign up, how do I play spins, what's a spin game questions kind of originated from that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Next season, guys, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna rename everything to try to make it a little easier. But until then, if you have any questions, refer to this video, and if you have any more questions, refer to the facts, answers, and questions. Make a post, and we will get back to you. And yeah, that sounds like it's about it. Thank you, guys. I hope this helps. All right, fare thee well. Bam.